Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. The 1990s are regarded as the golden era of dancehall. It was the epoch that saw that subgenre of reggae bully its way into the global mainstream, with lots of new superstars hitting their creative peak and bagging international record deals. At the very heart of its worldwide acceptance was the fusion of dancehall and hip-hop that was perfected by the likes of US-born duo Born Americans and Supercat. But if you were to ask any of these guys about their inspiration and the archetype model of their crossover sound, they would credit none other than the musical genius of Shinehead. This mercurial maestro is one of the most versatile figures that we've ever seen. He's among the very few artists I've seen that is a world-class A-list elite singer, dancehall toaster, rapper and instrumentalist all rolled into one, with such incredible creative range that is altogether perfect, writing songs that cover diverse subjects from love, conscious matters, or even the gritty details about street life. If you were around or came of age in the 1990s, this man was definitely a part of your life and subconscious. What I find most interesting about him is how he was at the intersection and right there watching during the rise of Jamaican dancehall, the very birth of hip-hop, an active player and an ace DJ who helped to make the sound system scene in New York a powerhouse almost as vibrant as those back home in Jamaica. In fact, New York became America's capital of reggae, and he was right there at the very heart of it, plus one of the operators who set the stage for that genre to truly gain acceptance in that country. He's among the most requested topics on this channel, so without further ado, let's take a look at the amazing story and journey of Shinehead. He was born Carl Aiken in April 1962 in London to Jamaican parents who had moved to England a few years before. When he was 5 years old, his family moved back to Jamaica and went to live in their hometown in the parish of St. Thomas. It was during that period of his life that the sound system scene was literally exploding in popularity and influence all over the island, as crowds would flock to watch veteran DJs like Count Machuki and then upcoming stars like Uroy light up Kingston Street every night. And even at that tender age, he loved to hang around sound systems. And at the age of 7, he got a chance to freestyle at a sound system called Soul King Disco that was owned by his uncle Winston. And when he did, blew the minds of everyone watching. The kid was a natural on the microphone, and his first experience with it would set the stage for a lifelong affair with music. He kept sharpening his DJ skills while in elementary school, when his family was on the move again, this time to America, and they would settle in the Bronx in New York, which had a thriving Jamaican community. That also was the period that hip-hop, just 2 years old, was exploding all over the city, and he applied his toasting skills to the similar practice of rapping, literally spending hours trying to rap over songs while playing music in his bedroom. And more tellingly, by the time he was 14, he was witnessing great hip-hop legends like Grandmaster Flash, The Treacherous 3, and DJ Kool Herc performing at parks in the Bronx. He seemed all set to be heading headfirst into hip-hop, but his neighborhood, with its heavy Jamaican presence and sound systems, would draw him in big time, and he became a regular attendee of the dances. It was all fun and games until one fine day in 1981, when he saw how well sound system DJs were living, that he decided to make it a career. He started out with a sound system called Specialist Roots, and in no time grew a fan base that followed him from gig to gig. But his fame really exploded when an incident involving Yellow Man would create an opportunity for him. In 1983, King Yellow Man came on his first tour of America with the breakout success of his album Zungu 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 Zang, and played his first concert at a venue in Harlem. And that night, the concert hall was packed and extremely hot, and halfway into his performance, Yellow Man fainted and had to be carried off stage. And Shinehead was right there as part of the organizing team. So while the crew was trying to revive Yellow Man in the dressing room, he seized his chance and jumped on stage to grab the mic and keep the crowd entertained and buzzing till Yellow Man could get back on. And boy, did he kill it. His performance and flow was fire and electrified the crowd big time. Some people in the audience with their stereos recorded Shinehead's performance, and in those days before the internet, the cassette recordings went viral, even finding its way abroad and as far away as the UK in a matter of weeks. His popularity blew up even more, and he joined another sound system called Downbeat the Ruler, which was among the biggest sound systems in New York at the time. Over the next few years, his rep and fame spread globally, and he made his debut on the international scene when he performed at the famous Notting Hill Carnival in London in 1986, in which he delivered a spectacular show. And that also was the year that he began his career as a recording artist and released his debut album, Rough and Rugged, on a small label called Africa Love, a seminal body of music, an eclectic mashup of dancehall, lovers rock, and a sprinkle of hip-hop that showcased his stunning versatility. In 1988, he got signed to US label Elektra Records and began to record the songs that made up his second album, Unity, that was produced by Jam Master Jay of hip-hop group Run DMC. That album was a critical success, but at the same time a moderate commercial hit, as was his third album, In Real Rock, which came out in 1990. But it was his 1992 album, Sidewalk University, that combined critical acclaim with chart success. This scorcher of an album had certified bangers like the dance floor filler, Try My Love, the charming dancehall cover of Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You, and arguably the most popular song of that album, In Jamaican in New York, also a cover of UK pop rock artist Sting's Englishman in New York. By then, his template of the hip-hop reggae dancehall crossover had been monitored closely by US record labels for years, and seeing the potential, they would aggressively sign Jamaican dancehall artists to their ranks, in the likes of Shabba Ranks to Shaggy and Supercat, and not to mention the Boned Americans, who he inspired directly. That generation of dancehall artists became very successful and sparked what became that genre's golden era. But while the trend was taking off, it also saw the rise of harder-edged sound as younger audiences began to gravitate towards slackness and all its themes around sex and violence, championed by the likes of Bounty Killer and Buju Banton in his Rude Boy days. And while Shinehead was the poster boy for good vibes, lyrical genius, and versatility, he was, in a strictly music business sense, sort of in between the extreme polarities of what those record labels were running after. That were the pure pop reggae lanes and the hardcore earthy rude boy sound. And as we all know, the record labels will always run after the money, and his label failed to promote his music the way they should have. But it didn't stop him, mind you, as his next album, Trotting, which hit the streets in 1994, was a masterpiece and, in my humble opinion, among his top 3 albums. But in a commercial sense, it failed to move big numbers, despite having super tracks like my personal favorite, Trotting Through. And he largely slowed down from recording after his album, Praises, that came out in the year 2000, by which time the dancehall scene was totally unrecognizable. But in an amazing turnaround, by the middle of the 2000s, a very large swell of nostalgia saw his music grow in demand, and he began to get heavily booked to come and perform at reggae festivals all over the world, in events like Reggae Jill, Rototom, and Summer Jam, a trend that's still going strong 2 decades after, as he continues to perform to old and new fans in annual concerts all over the globe, while also running his own sound system. He may not have achieved the level of success that he more than deserved, but one thing is for certain, his legacy as a legend is beyond question. A pioneer and extremely gifted artist who opened the door and floodgates for the golden era of dancehall, and that is saying a lot. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.